Hey guys, what is up? Kid here, Burn One, Shadowverse Evolved channel as always, back with our set review. We finally made it to the main booster for the Idol Master Cinderella Girls collaboration shit. Oh my god, set, not shit. We're starting off with Forest as always, and then we are joined with Presha, good friend of the channel.
Howdy.
And then our special guest, top 8 champion of all time, Captain.
I am here once again.
My goat.
The goat, exactly. All right, so here's our key as usual. If you need to review it, there it is. Otherwise, we're just gonna move full on ahead. And I just realized that I did not put the names. If you guys, I guess pressure to talk about this card while I fix this.
Yeah, okay. 3-mana 2/2 Aiko Takamori, Evo for 1, fanfare. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a passion card from among them and add it to your hand. Put the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order, and then on evolve, you may put a passion follower that originally cost 3 or less play points from your hand onto your field. I like this card a lot, especially since we saw the passion stuff last video. You know, that was kind of what I was pretty hyped for after reading all the cards, and this seems like a really key role player in that. Very like an Econo-esque card where it's a body that searches, or kind of searches, and then being able to almost like a floral fencer, play down a thing. It's only a 3/3 after Evo and a 2/2 base, so it's like kind of rough, but seeing these bodies that put down other bodies is really good, since we have the 4-drop. I believe it's the same character, right? Is it the same character, Aiko?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is
is.
starter
It is
deck,
the same character,
legendary.
yeah. And she requires 3 body or 2 extra bodies because she can tap herself. So yeah, this is a nice just, hey, play this, and then if nothing gets answered, which is not too much to ask, since if we're playing against like an aggro deck, like they're not going to have a ton of removal and stuff that we've seen. Like the cool deck doesn't seem to have too much like interaction. Being able to go, okay, next turn I go play my 4-drop, tap 3 things, and then play my AoE thing or whatever we're doing, the 9/9 ward. I like this card a lot. Even just like removing from the combo stuff, it just being 3 mana, get a card, and then play down another 3 cost card. So we should keep an eye out for other 3 cost passion cards, because the ones we've seen have not been too amazing. Like we saw the 4/3 that that what is going on? There's like some sound going on my computer. But anyway, what do you guys think?
I'm kind of the same boat as you. I really like this card, especially after like doing a skim through of the booster set and what other passion cards there are to interact with. It's just a solid card all around. Like, is this broken? No, but it's just really good value, which I really like. I'm always a value player when it comes to like most card games. So any card that gives me free value and cheat more things in makes me a happy boy.
Yeah, and comparing it to Floral Fencer is really just the best thing, and that seems to be what a lot of the passion cards are trying to do, is just spam your board. That way you can get these big swings later or get some other value. So this is definitely one of the cards to play around, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got? What are you guys thinking?
I think this is probably the strongest passion card just in general, right? Because this is the type of card where you just have to have it for like a archetype to be good. Like we've seen so many archetypes that are good in theory but lack a card like this, or they have like too many of these type of cards. Like the thing I'm thinking of is like Hunter, where like Hunter's filled with these type of cards, but they don't have any good top end or really good value cards. This deck, we've seen all the good value cards. Now we need the game players, the engine, and I think this is a really, really strong one. So I'm gonna give it an S. So I think there's no way Passion is playable without this card.
Yeah, I guess like that's where my question comes in, is do we want to grade these as like this is a passion craft kind of thing, or are we also trying to consider it in just like EMOS or Idolmaster as a whole?
Yeah, I feel like there doesn't even really exist like some sort of amalgamation of Idolmaster, right? Like I do feel like it is 3 different crafts, basically, because like you have like the new generation stuff, but that seems very specific and very gimmicky. And if we like sort of rate based on that, a lot of cards are going to be unplayable because they're just like this card would be an F in like a
in a general forest
IMAX.
craft or IMS. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I think that's just how we got to kind of see it. Like, unless a card specifically can like points out that it's like, oh, it can help other things. Like, generally, I think most things are kind of like their own fake craft. Essentially, I'm kind of on the same wheelhouse. I'm always between A and S on these. Like, I think it's just like you play Passion. This is like an auto 3 of inclusion in every list, and that's kind of why I want to give it the S treatment. But obviously, outside of IMAS, the card will not see play.
One of my main questions. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm just gonna go a little lower, just because it is a 3/3 body at the end of the day. It's gonna get removed fairly easy outside of the aggro matchups. So anytime it faces control, it's not helping the board too much if it's only replacing itself. So
yeah, for sure. I think another thing that to keep in mind is like what are the 3-drops we have. But even if even if this is the only playable 3-drop, at least it can play itself. And like that's actually not that bad. Like just being okay, 3-drop, check top 3, play it again, check top 3, and then you just want bodies on the field. And 2 kind of threats. I mean the 3/3 one wouldn't be a threat at that point, but the unevolved one would be. But yeah, I think pretty good card, but we'll see how good Passion is.
All right, next card here. Miku Maikawa has a 2-drop forest craft card. Oh, well, we're in forest, of course. So it has strike, select an enemy far on the field, deal it 2 damage, and then activate 1 play point and 1 lesson. Give this follower storm, and it's a 3/1. This card just seems like solid all around. It's a cute though, so I don't know how great it is in cute. I guess this is how you actually end people's lives in cute. Was this the first cute storm card actually?
But it's not even. It's like a pink storm.
I know. Oh, this is kind of like your novice trooper at home. I mean, at least it kind of like if you do play the 3 to do this and swing in for 3, at least it is also like kind of like removal also is there, since it does deal 2 damage somewhere. But it like literally dies to every like spell possible, like any response, because it does sit at 1 HP. I kind of like this card, but it's like not super amazing in general. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think this card sucks. I think this card's terrible. It's a 3/1. It's a 2-mana 3/1. And like you say, Novice Trooper, the positive of Novice Trooper is that it doesn't die to snipe.
Yeah.
Like all the others Novice the downgrade Novice Troopers like the like Juliet and the Usurpation one, like they have crazy bonuses. This bonus is not good at all. This needs to say Rush like baseline. Why is this a legendary?
I have no idea.
Yeah, this is just one of those cards that's really hard to like look at, especially after seeing the cool starter deck and seeing the 3/2/1 drop that immediately gets buffed by something else.
Yeah.
So it's like I definitely see how this could be a really good card versus like the cool deck. So I can definitely see it getting play in cute, but in any other meta, it just is not accomplishing anything.
Yeah, I mean, outside of IMAS, it doesn't even have Storm technically, because you have to be playing IMAS to get the lessons. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of rate this more higher than Pressure. Obviously, I think it's at least a D.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, I would be shocked if this is more than 50 cents.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I think it's going to be good in this meta. It's going to do what it needs to do outside of maybe the Kuon matchup, but against Cool, maybe this is going to be a card that kind of helps that matchup. So
yeah. All right, next card.
So this is Yuzuki Tami. It is a 1-drop 1/1 that evolves for 2. On base, it has Ward and activate lesson 1. In order, once you do that, select another card in your field that originally cost 1 play point or less and return it to its to the owner's hand. For the rest of the turn, this card's activated abilities except evolve cannot be activated, so it can only do that once per turn. On evolve, it becomes a 2/2, still with Ward, and on evolve, select an enemy card on the field that originally cost 2 play points or less and return it to its owner's hand. Same effect, activate lesson 1, select a card on your field that originally cost 1 play point and bounce it back to your hand. It's a cheaper bounce card, getting rid of some of the early aggro that your opponent's going to be playing. So honestly, it doesn't seem too bad, but at the end of the day, it's still a 2/2 that takes more to kind of come off the ground. Ward helps though, so I kind of like the card, but would definitely want to see what you guys have to say about it.
Yeah, this card seems really, really strong, especially like if we're kind of thinking passion is like the alternative, way to not necessarily be cool, but just like maybe target cool,
Mhm.
this is absurd anti-aggro. It's a ward, it's a 2/2, and then you just bounce whatever their other play was. If you go first, you can play this. It's like Lily, but earlier, because it's like, okay, you
Mhm.
play this on one if you're going first. They just have to go, okay, well, I'm going to play one drop, but it's going to get bounced. And yeah, and then it scales pretty well into every part of the game because it's really cheap. Yeah, I think this is really good. It's also a one drop, so it ties into the 9 mana 9/9 girl that we saw from the starter deck. That's one of our sort of like top end key pieces. So yeah, I think this card's really, really strong.
Yeah, I'm a bit high on this card as well. I just think the anti-aggro tools that this provide are just so huge, especially going into a meta where we anticipate a good chunk of the room is just going to be on like cool aggro because it's just such a straightforward. Like if your opponent messes up once, they kind of lose the game deck. Whereas this card just gives you such good tempo, eats a swing, and so forth. It just all around seems like a really solid card for just avoiding that strategy.
Yeah, and thinking about it too, with the passion starter deck, we've got that one drop that for 2 play points brings something back from the grave. So this is, I think that's the main target that this is bouncing back to your hand for to reuse it. So it lets those long games kind of play out a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I'm too high on this card. I really really like this card. I think it just mostly the idea of being in this meta. I think this is just a really powerful card. So
I think the issue is that the bounce part and stuff is a little rough against some decks, like against Abyss. Against Abyss, this card is just unplayable. You hope it gets ripped by
trust it
you
will.
know. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like if we're thinking, aggro, and then it can bounce the tokens from Kuan. It's pretty good. I'm just giving it an A because it is an Evo slot, and I would be shocked if we don't see other good passion Evos.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. For me, it's really, I think the big thing that I'm seeing with this is kind of letting Rune bring back uh the spell that is able to split 3 damage between 2 targets. Seeing something like this and the previous card, it makes you a little
Oh, the
scared to
fire
place these
chain.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire chain. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I could see fire chain actually getting a lot more play in this set
Yeah.
because you have like the 1 mana 2/1. I still think that the neutral goblin is better, but
Yeah.
and then yeah, you have some of the other 1 health guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next card here.
All right, Anastasia, 5 mana 2/4. Whenever you play a card during your turn, if it's the third card you've played that turn, recover 2 play points. If it's the fifth card, give each follower on your field +1/+1. Fanfare, recover 2 play points. This is probably the one card that sort of subverts all the negative stuff we've been talking about, where like all these cards just aren't played after the set. This is basically the one card that is played almost forever because it's very similar, just like digital card design for Forest. Like this could have any other card art and be like, yep, that's a card from digital or whatever. This card's absurd. This card is really, really strong. Gives Forest like honestly a buff they did not need at all. Like this card should not have been printed. I don't think it's like what I don't think it's like badly designed or anything. It's just like it's a really, really, really strong card and is going to make some games feel really bad and definitely make you wish it was best of 3.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you already like Spinaria, this is like on like basically the same stuff as Spinaria, but
Yeah, it's
like
way better. Yeah.
yeah, but like you got to do a lot more stuff with this, and even like combo this with Spinaria in some turns, like in the later stage of the game. So if you already like that combo archetype and just building wide boards, like you're gonna love this card if you already like Spinaria. Like yeah, this is like out of all the force cards that I like glanced at originally, Anastasia just seemed like one of the most powerful that will just like Pressure said, it will last beyond this set.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really to add to that. Staying power is what I want to see in some of these collabs, as long as it's not like every card. So seeing like a good solid one like this stick around is pretty solid.
It's just so insane in like fairies, in what we'll see in puppets, in the combo. This is like the main piece in the sort of combo cool deck that popped up a little bit. Just being able, for people that played fairies, just going, imagine you go, not Blessed Fairy Dancer. What's it called? Mage, Princess
Oh,
Mage, or
Elven
whatever.
Princess Mage,
Yeah,
yeah.
And then
get your wisp.
going into 5, you just go Anastasia, Wisp, Sukuna, Elf Song, and that's going first. That's going first.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't think this card should have been printed at this time. I think give it a couple sets. I just think it just makes Fairy just even more obnoxious and even more just unfun and high rolly
It's
than
one of
it
those
already
things
was.
too. Like this is like Spinaria. It enables like turn 5 and turn 6s of like wide boards that get really buff. And if you don't have an answer, you probably lose the game afterwards.
Well, yeah, but the thing with this card is now you get to go first and do that. Like
Yeah.
Spinaria, you couldn't go first and do Sukuna and Elf Song. This is just Anastasia, Wisp, Sukuna, Elf Song on going first, and the opponent just can't do anything. Like you just win the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, this card too like enables like turn 6 this card with Spinaria after 2 wisps too, which is insane. Like those crazy high rolls, right? Because you recover 2 on play, then you recover 2 more after playing the 2 wisp, and if you're on 6 play points, that puts you at 5. Then you play your Spinaria, which recovers you 3, and then you top check 4, and then just get a pop off even harder. Like yeah, like this card's kind of insane when like you get those really god hands like that.
Yeah, we even have a spell that's coming up later in this review where you can do all the things that you guys were just saying and then also do some additional stuff on top of that because this is a 5-drop. So it just ends up being so much value in one card.
Yeah. Well, I think that's enough glazing. I
Yep.
would be surprised if any of us rated less than S.
I think this is the best card in the set. I think this is the best card in the set.
Yeah,
that I've seen so far. Unless there's some like crazy bronze that I had not read yet. I think this is just the best card in the set. It's so like it's everything wrong with Shadowverse card design. But,
yeah, I'd be surprised. Like, I know we didn't read every card just yet, but I'd be surprised if we ran something else we think more highly than Anastasia, because I think Anastasia just like beats like every expectation we could have for a card in this set. So
the dragon card is the only other card I can really think of.
Yeah, I kind of agree. All right, so here's the next card. It's a 1-drop amulet, brand new beat. When this card leaves your field, if a magic item was banished from your EX area this turn, draw a card, activate and engage this card, put this card into your cemetery, select the follower on your field, and give it +1/+1. All right. I don't know. Like, I haven't been keeping track of like what magic item effects that we really care about or be playing a lot. It's probably without the context of actually being able to like play these cards just yet, because I have not tested anything. So I don't know how actively am I using these magic items to use an effect, and can I even weave this in for like a draw one, draw one, or pay one, draw one, like pump something 1/1. Like this card right now it reads fine. I think it just really depends on how often are we using these magic item effects to banish it or whatever or eat it essentially each turn, and like being able to weave this in between. I guess it does help with the combo enabling combos as well, since it does only cost 1 and immediately gets you to pump something +1/+1. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think this was played. I think 1 or 2, maybe 3 copies in the combo cool deck.
Mm-hmm.
But that deck you just need so many 1-drops because you just want to be hitting Anastasia like as consistently as possible.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you could just think of this as a 1 mana +1/+1, you know. Um, it's fine. I don't know. I don't think it's.
It's kind of
I
like the
think if you
nature
get the magic
guidance, right,
item, if
for
you
the
get the
set
magic item
eventually.
draw, it's kind of sick. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just the archetypal forest amulet draw card thing. So, but yeah, I mean, it plays well with some of the combos. Like if you were able to get like the main 3 from the starter deck out and have that extra, or already have this set up, you're providing a lot of value by just increasing your storm damage. Um, I don't think there's much to complain about the card, but it is one of those cards that if you're playing cool, maybe it's not doing much early. So.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give this C. Yeah. It
It's
just seems like a
what,
solid. Yeah.
uh,
All right. Next card here.
All right. This is Shinobu Kudo. It is a 4-drop 2/2 fanfare. Search your deck for up to 2 Idolmaster CG followers that originally cost 1 play point, or Idolmaster CG amulets that originally cost 1 play point with different names, and put them onto your field. This is a cute card as well.
if this was passion. I'd cry. If this was passion. I'd cry tears of joy.
Oh man.
I mean,
it can search passion cards out. So
that's actually true. No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
But it's not a passion itself, so it doesn't matter. And everything else checks for passion.
Yeah. It's also a 2/2. So I mean it's trying to provide 4/4 in value probably, but
we just can't play like what was that card? Like we can't play 4 mana 2/2 summon 2 guys anymore. You know, like that's just not how the game works. I think the card sucks. I think it's also cute. It's like easily.
Yeah.
It's like
It would have been interesting if this wasn't like a fanfare effect, but it was like a eat a lesson effect, and you summon 2 amulets to draw 2, and then buff this to a 4/4. That would have been cool, but alas.
I guess you could like, no, even that's bad. Yeah, no, this card sucks.
Yeah. Kind of in there too.
There's a card later in the set that this almost could work with, but it's a 4-drop, which ignores the actual summoning conditions for this. So it's pretty rough. I'm also going off.
FG.
Alrighty, Yumi Aiba, 3 mana 3/3, evolve for 1. Fanfare. If there are at least 3 passion followers on your field, select enemy follower on the field and deal 2 damage. On evolve, select the enemy follower on the field with 3 or less defense. Its owner puts it on the bottom of the deck. So this is the sort of Lily, maybe Rose Gardener effect, but way worse. 3 health is actually not like really easy to hit, because if we think about this coming down on 3 or 4, they're going to have a 3 or 4. They're going to have a 4 or 5 health guy on the field already, based on average like curve. But it'll kill like maybe their previous turn thing. I think this is good just because that effect is really strong, and bottom decking something is really strong. But you do sort of have to kind of keep something alive maybe for this effect to have a ton of value. So I'm not really taking into effect that like having 3 passion followers on the field that early in the game. If you already have 3, you're winning the game anyway. Like I don't like that seems like a really strong game you're having yourself, So it is nice that in a late game you can basically bottom deck a 5 health thing. But like, is that, I don't know. Like it's good because that the effect of bottom decking something is good, but other than that, I think it's just okay.
Yeah, I kind of like this card just because once again we got to remember this is a 3-cost follower that's in passion, which means it does come up with that one card we saw earlier. So there could be situations where
already evolved.
Yeah. I mean, you could have something live. Play the thing that summons another thing, right? And you summon this just to get the 2 damage in, and then you threaten bottom decking afterwards. It's like it's an okay, cute like thing going on. So like it's not the worst in the world. So I think the getting the 2 damage might be a little bit more reliable than we might think initially. But, not sure after testing. And it's a very anti-aggro card too with the other stuff, which is kind of all right. Because if we're looking at cool being like really low to the ground, this is definitely going to pop something. They're not going to answer it. The next turn it answers 2 things again on Evo, which is kind of cute in a sense. But I'm also not super high on the card.
But because the issue is for it to pop something. Like, to me, this just never has a fanfare. It'll have a fanfare on turn 7, but that doesn't matter to me because nothing's gonna be 5 health most likely.
Mhm.
I think the world where we get the fanfare off, we're winning the game anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it kind of reads just like a Dragon Warrior with upside, but you just can't guarantee that 3 is gonna, or it's gonna kill something or bounce something. So it doesn't. It's like that upside is immediately traded off. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Cudgel, and I even set 1, I started to think Cudgel wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's passion, so it's gonna probably be auto played because and it's good, and we just want removal. But I just don't. I just think it's a card you have to play. I don't think it's like that strong at all, really.
Yeah, fair. Damn, you guys are higher, and I was trying to make this sound even better. Why does this keep happening?
It's like automatic.
it's a must play, So it's as soon as it's a must play, I feel like it has to at least get that C because you have to consider it every time you build passion. So
Yeah.
Fair. All right, next card here. Goddess by the Morning Sea, 1-drop spell. Draw a card if there's a follower on your field that originally costs at least 5 play points. Recover 1 play point. It's a cool traded card. You could just what? This goes with Anastasia so well.
Yep.
Just call me.
This is the one I was talking about.
I'm just like, just like Upstart Goblin or something. Just give me the free cycle. It's focus, except it's easier to activate the effect.
Yeah, the minute you have like 2 of these in hand and maybe like a wisp, a single one, you just feel so good. It doesn't even if you don't have like the rest of your stuff, you have the chance to draw into it. So there's such a good combo with this in Anastasia.
Yeah, this. I mean, even outside of this set, like this probably could be played in Forest, like moving forward as well. If you, depending on like what is going on with your build. I mean, I could see it. I don't know. This is a weird card to evaluate for me because I don't know outside of this particular meta and into other Forest builds, how often are we looking to play this? I guess it also does just like up your combo count too, right? Beyond after like a Spinaria turn or Anastasia turn, which probably always feels good.
Yeah, at the end of the day, 1 to draw cards always solid. Doing it with the potential upside and increasing combo is also really solid.
Yeah, my main issue with this card is like it's not going to be played in normal cool aggro. It's only going to be talking about just Idolmaster. It's only going to be played in the cool combo deck, which I'm still a little skeptical about it. And then outside of that, like I personally don't think like an Insight is that good in Forest, especially because they have just such high power level cards. Um, and the requirement of having to have the Spinaria or Anastasia out to get the recover 1 play point. Uh, I don't know. Like, I just feel like Force is like such an absurdly high power level deck that I can't imagine you like can't find 3 other cards you'd rather play than this card. Like in a outside of Idolmaster deck. Even like talking about like if you play with Anastasia, I just don't know where that would fit in because you have to cut cards for Anastasia, and then you have to find some cuts for this, and it's like the deck's already pretty. I'm talking about fairies. The deck's already pretty
Pretty tight.
and then outside of that, like with puppets, deck's pretty tight already, and there's looking in the future, there's other cards you'd rather be playing. So I don't know. I'm pretty down on this card, just because I don't think in at the power level we're at nowadays Insight is good enough outside of like a deck where Insight is making your Kuan cost one less.
Yeah,
Um,
I just think it's a really powerful mid-range tool, like even outside of just Idolmaster itself. Like I could see myself like looking at ways of like how do I truly pop off and make the deck more consistent, especially hitting the Spinaria Anastasia turns. And I feel like this kind of helps in general. Like, will this see much play outside of like this meta? I'm not exactly sure because I haven't really explored beyond what was winning beyond this set. So I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was played in some number, or at least tried. Because I always think like zero cost draw card like cycle is just like adds consistency to the deck, and you're already like in this mid range game plan where you're like want to play Anastasia and Spinaria on those turns anyway, and so that like it helps a little bit with like popping off a little bit more. But you might be right. In the end of the day, you just don't have the deck space to like even want to include this.
and the other issue I have with it is like it's not even that good with Spinaria because you have to be at 6.
Yep.
Anastasia works at 5. Spinaria you have to be at 6, and you have to go like. Actually, yeah, it's pretty bad with Spinaria, right? Because you have to
Oh
go
no,
like.
I'm just imagining like you play the Spinaria out, you recover the play points, and you could top deck this off of Spinaria, which doesn't feel the worst. It's just like another spell you can hit that just essentially cycles you a card into like maybe a
Well,
different
but
follower or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
you
the
have to
thing,
remember you're comboing into Spinaria most of the time. So
yeah.
yeah, because that's what I'm saying is this doesn't help you combo into Spinaria.
Oh yeah, I wasn't trying to say it was helping you combo
Oh,
and Spinaria.
okay,
I'm just saying it adds like a slight consistency to the deck in the sense where, and then like adds an extra tool after you Spinaria to get combo up and cycle. That's just my thought process. But like I said, it's not like I don't know at the end of the day if there's even going to be room to be playing something like this, or if you even really need it beyond having like Anastasia and Spinaria in a deck. So
Yeah, thinking about it more now that like I realize it's not good with Spinaria, or not that good with Spinaria. I think this card's actually really bad. Like it's good with Anastasia, but that's it. Like I didn't realize because for some reason I thought it just became 0 play points, but you have to play it first and then you recover the one. So yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's never being played with Spinaria, or it's just going to be a card in your hand with Spinaria. Like it doesn't mean anything, and that's our main 5-drop. Anastasia's cool, but yeah, no, I don't know. I think this is. Yeah, I'm giving it a D. I don't know. I don't think this card's good.
I'm a bit more up on it. I think
So
it's a
am I.
card that you need to always consider. As long as you're doing anything around combo and have a 5-drop in the deck, it has value, I think. It's going to definitely be reliant on how many 5-drops maybe. So
I wish this was in like sword or class that needed consistency, a slash like a class that didn't have like already you know 15 other broken cards that you want to be playing 3 of all the time. But
Yeah, I understand. I guess it's just my mid-range brain too just sees this as like such great value because
Oh, yeah.
every time I want to do on turn 5 as force, I want to create the most obnoxious board states possible and go good luck and whether win or die from that
Well,
point. Yeah.
well, but my thing is that but that would only be with Anastasia, and you just need any other one drop card. Because Spinaria, this doesn't do anything, or like you have to be on 6 for this to mean anything.
Once again,
Mm,
I'm just considering beyond after playing the Spinaria. I value the fact that I'm basically playing a 37 card deck, and that also this adds like a random extra combo if I need it to get to 5 or whatever.
yeah,
That's how I'm
I think the
evaluating it.
thing I think the thing too is if you're playing this card, you're usually going to choose Anastasia over Spinaria. I
Yeah.
don't see a lot of cases where you're able to play both of them in the same deck, especially not like you said. Amataz is super tight.
Oh no. I think you definitely play both of them in the same.
Yeah,
deck.
I think when it comes to like a mid range game plan, you basically have
Yeah, mid-range.
5 drops that like generate this board state for you. That's like insane. That's at least how I see it.
Actually, I mean, I guess you do bring up a good point because I honestly do think Spinaria is like a little late in force right now, in fairy force. So maybe you do just cut Spinaria and play Anastasia in this, and then like you just this is basically the consistency replacement for Spinaria. Maybe I don't know. I can
Mhm.
think about it more now, maybe because like Spinaria does feel sometimes pretty bad because it's just like it comes down so late, or you just like don't draw the nuts, or you never see any wisp generator, and then it's just like, okay, well, this is gonna come down on turn fucking 7, you know, and it's like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna do anything. Anastasia like auto just comes down and goes, okay, you know, I think you play both, but then also like you could have situations where you're bricked on both of them. So maybe I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you do just cut Sonari and play this in Anastasia.
Yeah, I
I
mean
think most other
it's
decks. I think most other Future Force decks play both though.
yeah, I think it really just comes down to if you're playing Amataz, if you want a little bit of protection, Spinari is going to be better just because of the ward body. But otherwise, if you are going full aggro, Anastasia and this card are going to do you so much.
All right, moving on. So this next card here we reviewed in one of the trial decks or starter decks. So if you want our opinion, go there. I assume you guys don't want to change this. Oh, you may moved it
I'm
to a D.
changing it to a D. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think thinking about it way more. I think this card sucks.
All right. Isn't there a deck though that like generates like it's like 1-drop aggro and it's like all the stuff buffs your 1-drops or something? I remember seeing that somewhere.
Well, that's the combo. That's the
Oh.
Anastasia combo deck.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's probably played in that because you play 15 1-drops or whatever. But like, this is the 13th, 14th, or 15th. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I,
It's probably the worst 1-drop. I understand. Yeah.
yeah. And even the list that are playing it, like, I still feel like you just rather play the trainer over her. But I don't know. We'll see, or we won't. I don't know if I'm going to even play the set.
All right, moving on here.
So this next one is Azuki Momoi. It is a 4-drop 3/5. Where if there are at least 3 Idolmaster followers on your field, it costs 3 less to play, and it is a ward. So it's potentially a 1-drop 3/5 ward, which reads insane. The issue is to me, this is kind of one of those decks that seems like it's reliant on like passion, where it's getting a lot of cards out really fast, but it's cute. It's kind of running into the same issue that we were just seeing with a different card where it misses on everything else in that deck. So it's potentially a little risky.
Yeah, this card is like the fact it only checks, you know, Idolmaster, doesn't check any, you know, cute passion, whatever. This card seems absurd to me. 1 mana 3/5 with ward is so much. That's so good. That's like insane. I would be shocked if like cool aggro decks don't play this, right? Because you just have like some misses, and there's not a ton of stuff that like reads. You have to have a cool card. Like they have the like rousing step built-in card and the 1-drop and stuff. But like, I don't know. I'd take that, not like risk or whatever, but take that downside and play a 1 mana 3/5 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you've got like the space for a 4-drop on your curve, it seems like this one is an instant consider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree overall, and definitely like what Pressure just said too is interesting. Like in the aggro decks and stuff, I'd be surprised if this isn't played in the aggro decks, especially because like they generally build relatively wide boards for very cheap, and so like there could be a scenario where you just like play 3 1-drops and then this as a 1-drop, and then that's like good enough. I don't know if you'll have a hand left, but but I could see like scenarios like that happening, and then this coming down protecting your weenies that you need to swing in. So yeah, I like this card in general. It just seems like a solid card all around.
Yepers.
Yeah.
Ooh, you guys are more higher on it than I am. All right.
I think it's just you have to play it in some of these decks.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
just
a
like
3/5 is so
insane.
good. It's
Yeah.
it's the same stats as Spinaria, but it comes out a turn earlier.
And
Yeah.
like what decks like even have answers to 5 health? Like imagine you get it down early, you know, like you go 1-drop, they don't answer it, or like even just like turn 2, you play 2 guys, they kill 1, and then you just play 2 more 1-drops into this, like
Yeah.
like you know, like yeah, you have no hand, but Abyss cannot kill. Abyss sees
3/5,
3
yeah.
things on the board, and they
It's
get up,
over.
you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
over.
Can't discard what's
So
not there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. This is another card that we saw in the starter decks, so refer to that. Any changes for you guys on this?
No.
All right.
Cute is rough.
Yeah.
All right. Next card here. Is it me? I don't remember now.
Well, this one we've
Yeah, it's
all these
also.
last ones have.
Oh wait, yeah, we already did this one
Yeah.
too. Yeah, any changes on this one? No, I assume, right?
I think I might change it to a C, but just because I think about it more, I think it's just not that good compared
Alright.
to
I
Archer.
feel like it kind of falls in the same thing though. Of there, we have a lot of easy ways to get followers out. So there's definitely times where you're playing this, it survives, and then all of a sudden you're killing one or two things depending on their size.
Fair.
And then you have no hand.
But we're so high on Momoy.
Well, yeah, but that's a fucking 3/5 ward. Like this is a 1/3 that will never it will never get value outside of the effect because it's just swing in, and you have to have 4 other cards for it to kill probably like one thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I imagine the turns where you get this out on turn 2 or 3, and then you're able to go into like the Momoy and just play like 2 more cards in her or 1 more card in her, because then that hits the 3 for Momoy. So, I mean, it's not the greatest, but I think it still has some value of just being able to, especially in like the cool mirror, being able to deal with your opponent's aggro. So,
Yeah. All right, last card, which is we also reviewed before. Did you give us an F- last time? I don't even remember.
Yes, this is the worst card in the game. This is the worst card in the game, Shadowverse.
Oh man.
Someone needs to explain this card to me. And I'm sure there's lovely folks on the Discord that will do that for me. But yeah, I don't know. This card sucks.
Fair. All right, that wraps up Forest, guys. Here's our socials. Just follow them. As always, thank you so much to Prescia, and thank you, Captain, for joining us as our special guest for the set review. You guys have any shout outs, Prescia, Captain?
Shout out the Milwaukee Brewers for playing the most boring brand of baseball imaginable.
nothing for me.
All right. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching. If you made this far, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. It keeps me motivated to keep pumping out this content. So thank you so much for those that do subscribe. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video, which should be Sword. Later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.